Greetings and welcome to another edition of Fill Your Own Void, the podcast. Again, it's Fill Your Own Void, the podcast, where we will be discussing topics that's near and dear to you and yours, as well as topics that's near and dear to me and mine. First, let me introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. My name is Chuck Rose, and I'm the author of Personally Improving Mental Performance, as well as Access to Success. And I'll be your partner on our journey to becoming our own life coaches to enlighten and increase quality of life by our own definition. We started off our first podcast series with that initial question. Are you getting what you want out of life? Are you currently living the life you desire, deserve, and dream about? If not, hopefully this podcast and our discussions will help us fix that. And if you are, we invited you to come on in and share some of those best practices that tells us and shows us that we could copy and steal on how you flow through life with a calm, cheerful assurance. We want to do that as well. You can follow us on Fill Your Own Void on all the major social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. You can just search Fill Your Own Void, Chuck Rose. You can also find the segments, the previous segments. This is only the third one on the podcast library, Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. And you can see the live tapings on the YouTube channel, Fill Your Own Void. All right, send those topics of conversation in, fillyourOwnVoid@gmail.com, and let's discuss things that you want to talk about. So let's get started. We talked a little bit on the previous episodes that he who knows others is clever, but he who knows himself is enlightened. And we want to be enlightened. We also talked about those motivational speakers, those life coaches, those individuals that people subscribe to, stream, look at, companies bring them in, pay them a lot of money for a 30-minute set to motivate the sales force, to motivate the staff. But guess what? I've interviewed these people. I know these people personally and well. They don't need anything outside of them to fill their own void. And they don't need anything or anyone to motivate them. They're self-motivated. We can do the same thing. Because again, we're going to be our partners on our journey to becoming our own life coaches to enlightenment and increase quality of life by our own definition. Okay? So let's get started a little bit here. Let's talk a little bit about what we talked about last time, and that was breaking the generational curse. The fact that generational curses come in many, many different forms should and can be broken. They could be poverty. It could be substance abuse. It could be lack of education. Whatever it is, just because mom and dad grew up in zip code 12345 don't mean you have to. We talked about the fact that the beach is not going to come to you and knock on your door and say, come out and hang out on me for the day. You got to give yourself exposure to give yourself a desire and create an appetite so you can do things to get you the things you need to enjoy those things most. So look, let's check this out. We talked a little bit about that generational curse of the alcoholic, abusive dad who raised a set of twins. One twin went on to become an alcoholic, abusive dad. The other, an entrepreneur, loving father. But when asked, how did you guys become what you are? They both said verbatimly the exact same thing. It was because of my dad. What else would I be? Guys, you got to understand, you can get controlled by your situation or you can control your situation. The fact is, tomorrow is a new day. Yesterday really did end last night. And as a player in the game of life, you have to possess a start over mentality. There will be setbacks that will interrupt you on your plans and your goals. But the most important thing is to remember every day, tomorrow is a new day and yesterday really did end last night. The top 5% of that socioeconomic success pyramid that flows through life with a calm, cheerful assurance are not people without problems. They're just people who know how to solve them. They stare down their giants. They don't wear their issues and problems on their sleeve. They oil the machine, and you got to oil the machine. Oil the machine, you got to live a high quality of life through balance. Balance is achieved through the balance of the mind, body, and spirit. Hey, it's like the goose and the golden egg. Neglect the goose and lose the eggs. You are your own goose, and your productivity and your quality of life is your golden eggs. Feed your mind a diet of junk. Your life will directly reflect that. Understand you are in the starring role of your own reality show. There's no need to watch anybody else's. Win your own Oscar. Again, as a player in the game of life, you have to possess a start over mentality. There will be setbacks on your journey to enlightenment and an increased quality of life. We already just talked about the machine. We talked about yourself being your own goose, and your golden eggs is what you produce. Neglect the goose, lose the eggs. Okay? So many times I hear folks on the bottom layers of the socioeconomic success pyramid, it's the man's world, woman might say. It's the white man's world, black man may say. It's the black man's world, white man may say. But you got to understand, the game of life plays no favorites and it has no preferences. The game of life has no gender or ethnicity. As I mentioned earlier, successful people are not people without problems. They're just people that know how to solve them. Understand they have the same issues, vices, and hangups you do. But when the game of life starts, they put their game face on and you'll never know about their issues. Don't get it twisted. The game ain't theirs. They just play it so well it make it looks like it's theirs. Let's go ahead and get this thing done. Let's learn these rules to the game of life. You already know how to win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is right around the corner. You can get your team to the playoffs. You can get your team to the Super Bowl, but can you win or even get to the playoffs in the game of life? You got to know the rules because you will fail at the game of life by living a less quality of life. So here, I'll leave you with this. The greatest discovery of this generation is that a human being can alter his or her life by altering their state of mind. Also, make the most of every failure. Fall forward because pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Again, I like that one. Let me do that one again. Make the most of every failure. Fall forward because pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Head for the stars. I will meet you there.